Hey everybody, how's it going? It's me again. Welcome to my basement yet again. In this video, I'm going to be installing the Micro Swiss FlowTech Hotend, which is right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. On my K1 Max. The reason for the install is recently I've noticed some decline in print quality. I tried doing recalibration, starting from scratch all over again, and the pieces weren't looking as great anymore. And I don't know if that was due to the new update that I'll mention later on in the video, but the print quality did decrease slightly, and I figured, hey, let's just go ahead and upgrade it to a much nicer Hotend here. I've actually already installed it. It's actually already on the machine. The video that I had recorded at the time that I did the install for the intro actually unfortunately had some minor technical difficulties with the camera not being able to focus. Not sure what that was about, so I'm just reshooting this. Just wanted to let you guys know the Hotend is already installed in here. It's been working great. I did rerun all of my calibrations on it, just starting from scratch, and then did it all over again. I didn't do that initially, and I had some really terrible prints. So just make sure to rerun all your calibrations if you do this upgrade. Don't be like me, forget. But yeah, it's already on there. I actually have a print here that I can show you guys. That's for the Spider-Man 2099 suit that I'm printing, which is one of the blades. It still has all the supports on it. You guys can see that. Came out super nice. I don't know why the camera turns this into an orange, but I promise you this is red. It is not orange, it's red. And the supports have been coming off super nicely. Let's see if we can get these off right here on camera. There we go. Ooh, that's nice. But yeah, so it's already installed on here. Ooh, look at that. Came off buttery smooth. I've already printed a couple of other things on this. I'm just going to show you guys here real quick. Came out super nice. This bottom piece here failed a little bit, but I think that's just because I didn't add the proper supports in the corners. But yeah, it just needs to be cleaned up, and I can add it on to the forearms there. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. The next part is me just actually going through it. I'll probably do some sort of a voiceover for you guys so you guys can follow along with what's happening. I know sometimes watching somebody do it while you're doing it or before you do it is very useful, just to see how much of a struggle this is going to be for you. I know I did struggle with my P1S upgrade. Wish I would have watched more videos, but it's besides the point. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys here in a second.
Hey everybody, welcome. Now I'm just doing the voiceover here. I decided that removing the door was probably the best thing for me to do. You can remove the door or leave the door. It's totally up to you guys how you do this part. The directions don't tell you to do either or. And a couple of the videos that I've seen, people just leave the door on, but it seemed a lot easier for me. It gave me better access with the camera in the way and the way that I was filming this. It just made more sense for me. But do whatever you think is best for you and in your situation. Remove the door if you would like. Leave it. Your choice. So we'll be installing the Micro Swiss FlowTech Hotend here for the K1 Max. I know I do mention this in the beginning of the video, but in case you join in at this part, this is what's going on. I do tell you at the end of the video that I messed this initial part up and the door falls and it's all chaos. I actually did edit that out, so sorry past me, future me, change that up on you. So there are a couple of screws you do need to remove according to the directions. There's the screw that you see me unscrewing here, and then there's one on the other side. That's quite literally all that's holding this thing in place, besides these two top pieces that are just kind of there to hold it in place. You don't screw those out, the front end pops off. The directions for the K1 Max do have you remove the LiDAR sensor. I believe it's just because of access to the screw, but I could be 100% wrong. I mean, I just went ahead and followed the directions and didn't really try to do it with the LiDAR sensor still on. So that's what I'm doing now, just removing it. And now I should have no problem with reaching the other screw and getting this bad boy off. Just a quick side note, like I do on all my videos, none of this is sponsored by anyone. I decided to do the upgrade, as I'll mention in the video, because I started to see a decline in quality. But if you're interested in the tools that I use the iFixIT kit. I'll put a link in the description for you guys if you want to pick one of those up. These things are awesome for quite literally anything electronic. Removing the faceplate on this thing was a little bit of a struggle just because I'd never done it before, and the videos that I watched, they kind of just popped it out super easy, and it didn't seem to be the case. But also, just go ahead and remove the LiDAR sensor before you try to remove this. It makes your life easier. I decided to just take it off because, you know, I didn't think this through. So do yourself a favor, remove the LiDAR sensor and then try to remove the cover. It just makes it so much smoother. So the trick with this for me was kind of just wiggling it out of place for where the bottom two screws were, and then being able to actually lift it up off of the two placeholders up at the top. And here I am realizing that I should have removed the LiDAR sensor first because it's in the way. Got to turn on all the lights so I can see and you guys can see. By the way, I'm going to mention this because I don't mention it at the end of the video, but I did in the beginning. The beginning part was actually reshot because my camera was having issues focusing on my face on the original shot that I took, so I apologize for that. It's all going to seem a little bit out of context at the end there because I started talking about things I said in the beginning, which I don't believe I mentioned in the beginning of the video. So this is the part I do mention at the end about the silicone sock. So it was a real struggle to get it off. I'm not sure what was going on, why this was the case, but it seemed to be like really glued on there. I deleted the audio, but at one point I do kind of squish it a little bit and it makes a very obvious cracking noise, and I was a little bit concerned on what was going on the inside, whether filament had leaked in, whether there was just something in there that wasn't supposed to be there. And here I am just trying to figure out what's going on. I think that it might be glued because of filament just, you know, gunking up the nozzle, but that wasn't the case. And it was honestly a really frustrating step, was getting this sock off so I can get to those screws. But yeah, maybe I would recommend taking yours apart a little bit and squeezing the silicone sock, making sure that it's actually like, you know, what a silicone sock feels like, a little spongy, no cracking noises are happening when you twist it a little bit. And also making sure the set screw on the back of the Hotend is all the way in. I do mention it at the end of the video, and I don't actually show you here once I take it out, but that for me wasn't screwed in all the way, and I'm not sure if that was could have caused an issue, or if that's just, you know, how things are, because sometimes they don't screw it all the way in because it's not necessary, and I'm making this up, or if this was actually causing the quality of my prints to decline over time. I had already printed quite a couple of hours, a lot of the Spider-Man 2099 stuff was being printed on this guy, so a lot of those prints were 24, 10, 15, 8, 7 hours. So this thing really did go through it. And when I started printing the red filament for the accents on the suit, I did notice that the print quality was not as great. I had layers missing, I had pieces that had gunked up, in certain areas and supports were failing. It was just altogether a bad time. I ended up troubleshooting it for a whole day before I decided that it was probably a good idea for me to replace the hot end or to replace the extrude. I didn't know which one was causing the issue. But when I first took it apart, I did notice that the silicone sock was not doing something right. It was, as you can see, the hot end here is a little dirty, and when I would squeeze it, little things would fall out. So I assumed it was just a leaky nozzle. And given that the FlowTech is one long nozzle, so it can't leak, like it comes in cold, the filament comes into the top and then it gets fed in, and there's no other connection point. That's it. It starts at the top where the extruder pushes it in, and it ends at the nozzle where it gets pushed out. So I figured this was a good option to try before I started buying all kinds of things and nothing fixing the problem, and then eventually buying the FlowTech nozzle and then resolving my issue. Luckily now I've had it printing now for a couple of days while I edit this video, and everything's been great. So we'll see what happens. Here's the set screw part. I needed a much larger bit, and I ended up just grabbing one because I saw that it was sticking out, and it seemed like I could just unscrew it, and that's literally what I did. I didn't need that much power or torque from the whole screwdriver to just pull it out, and that was a little concerning. So I don't know if that might have led to the issues that I was having, so double check that on yours. Especially if you see a decline in print quality, just give that a little tighten just to make sure that it's tightened. I don't know if it came like that out of the factory or if it loosened over time, but definitely just take a look at that and tighten it. I'm going to do that periodically now, even with the new extruder, just to make sure, with the new hot end, just to make sure that that's nice and tight. Be very careful with the one that I'm working on right now. The wires are very thin, and if you pull it a little too hard, those wires could pop off of that head, and it could cause issues down the road if you ever have to send this thing back to Creality, because they will not send you back your FlowTech nozzle. They will just keep it. And it could also give them a reason to say that your warranty isn't valid because you upgraded this one piece and it's not doing what it's supposed to do because of that. So just be careful. I know I like to keep my factory hot ends when I send things out to warranty. Here I'm just showing you the little piece that goes in. Of course, it's the only piece I show to you, so we're just gonna go past that. I like to keep my hot ends and all my factory parts for when I do send these things in, if I have to send them in or if I have to get them exchanged, just so that I can keep the parts that I paid for. There's no sense in throwing away these parts and then having to send this back to Creality because it's broken, and then you have the problem of, oh, I have to go out and spend another $60 or X amount of money to get everything that I had before back onto this printer. So just keep them for now. You never know, right? So here I am tightening it. It's nice and tight in there now. And here I am not showing you the part, because I'm very consistent in my videos. This part is actually relatively simple to install. This whole process was really simple, really easy. It was just a matter of following the directions and not being nervous about actually doing this. I'm always nervous when upgrading a machine because I feel like I'm going to mess it up more. It's just a reflex that's left over from my ender days with Creality machines, when you would upgrade one piece and then for some reason everything else was just not working anymore. Luckily that wasn't the case with this, so it's awesome. Yeah, so that just kind of hangs there. I thought that maybe you had to push it up, but no, it literally just hangs there. That's just me looking at the directions, make sure I wasn't crazy. Here I go installing the nozzle. So this is so you can see what I mean. It's one continuous piece, and it goes all the way up past the heater, all the way up into the extrusion point. From the extruder to the nozzle, it's all one piece. So this is that tool is from, I believe it's called, the company called Slice 3D. I can't remember the exact name. I'm terrible with names, if you haven't already gathered that from my videos. So I'll put a link in the description for that too. Here goes the nice new silicone sock. That part was probably the easiest part. Hey look, it's me. Looking crazy without my hat on because my hair was terrible and I didn't realize that the camera was picking me up. And then don't do the stupid thing of what I'm doing at the current moment, which is installing the plug-in for the one on the outside first. You should probably start with the smaller one, which is much more difficult to get in, so you have more room on the inside. Get that one in first and then work on the outside one. It's much larger, easier to get a grip on. The other one is much smaller, much harder to actually get it. And you run out of room when you plug in that other cable first. I believe the one that I'm working on second is the one for the thermistor. I believe that one that I've just plugged in is for the heater block. I'm not 100% sure. I could be wrong. I could have them backwards. But yeah, so this is going to be a struggle because I have fat fingers and it's a really small piece and I didn't give myself enough room. So yeah, don't be like me. Do the opposite. Do the small one first and then the big one. Promise you it'll be easier. I end up using some tweezers from my iFixIT kit, which they ended up helping, but just do yourself a favor and don't do this. And it's in. There we go. It's quite simple, guys, and then pretty much the rest of this is just putting it back together. There are a few tips and tricks that I would recommend to you guys, especially with the LiDAR cable that's there on the left side if you're watching the video, from the camera's point of view, our point of view. It does go in that slightly larger hole, that one right there. I wasn't sure if it went in any of the smaller ones, but no, it does definitely go in that one. And what you want to do is you want to actually pull it through all the way. I risk damaging my cable because I didn't pull it all the way through. And I tried to close this on the cable, which is not what you want to do. Especially after Creality just releases an update so that you can use the LiDAR with Prusa Slicer and Orca Slicer. You don't want to damage that if you're going to want to use it. Here I go like a dum-dum, pushing down and not realizing that the cable isn't actually all the way through. So, enjoy my misery while I'm being an idiot. Enjoy this because I end up realizing my mistake and then I fix it and then everything's fine. Oh, look at that. I pulled it all the way through. But it's still not going all the way in. Why not? Because I still haven't pulled it all the way through. That cable kind of turns weirdly and it makes a pinching point, and then you can't really do anything with the tool head. Well, with the cover. So there I am, looking at it, inspecting, not knowing what the hell's going on. And then I realize, oh, hold on, this isn't all the way through. My bad. Boop, pulled it all the way through. Look at that. Look at how smooth and easy it was to do that, and now everything lines up perfectly. and you just got to screw everything back together. So I figured I'd give you guys a little bit of an update in this video on the Spider-Man suit. So I currently, as of recording this voiceover, I have 2 more 10-hour prints to finish the entire upper body. So it took me a long time to print this whole suit. I mean, the whole top part. I'm assuming the bottom is going to take me even longer, but I will be making a quick short video for you guys after I finish this, just showing you the box that I have downstairs of all the pieces. I printed out essentially everything for the upper body, including all the optional pieces, just to see which one of those I wanted to use versus which ones I didn't want to use. I am currently printing the front neck piece of the armor set, which I think might be a mistake. I might look into getting some flexible PLA. It just color matching is going to be a bit of a pain. So I will see how that works. I'll try to put that together first to try to test it out to see how it feels and give you guys an update on that, because I might have to use a different material. So let's install the door without any problems here. And there we go. Got it in. Nobody got hurt on the second time around. Well, the first time around reinstalling it, the second time around actually doing things with the door. I am planning on printing an upgrade for the door, just so I have more rotation. But I did print one out, and the instructions and the parts that they recommended didn't actually work out very well. So I decided to just scrap the idea and wait until I saw another one pop up that looked good. And for the meantime, I printed a little lid proper for the top lid so that it's slightly open so that I can print PLA. And there we go. Thumbs up. Everything's good to go. I'll catch you guys in here in just a second.
Alright guys, so new day. I'm wearing a completely different outfit here. My camera died while I was filming the end of installing the FlowTech Hotend on my K1 Max. So I decided to just wait, run all kinds of calibrations, make sure it's going good. Actually, I didn't do that. I lied. I started printing things right away then without doing any modifications to anything on my printer. And the prints that I got weren't up to par. So I printed some of the red stuff for the Spider-Man 2099 armor, and it came out not great. It's actually some of my worst quality things that I've gotten off of the K1 Max. It's actually running right now. Some of these prints, now that it's been fully calibrated and I've run all the tests. Let's see if the camera will pick this up. But I have the edges aren't super great. I don't know if you can see that, but they look pretty bad. It's not the best quality. There's a lot of ghosting on this thing. There's a lot of layer line shifting things happening. It's not picking it up very well, but it did a really terrible job. Here's another example. You guys can probably see that a little bit better. The ringing on that is just a little insane. So I ended up running all the calibrations you're supposed to run from the get-go. I treated this like if it was completely new out of the box. I ran temperature tower. I ran this thing that pressure advanced. This is what that is. Sorry, I couldn't think of the name. I ran all of the flow. I dialed it down as best as I could. After my first lazy attempt, I printed this Orca tolerance test thing. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's a little thing. I could barely get it into the 0.2, which it starts off here, which is, easy, then here, and then I could barely get it into 0.2 there. So I said, hey, you know what? Let me go back, redo it all again. So I essentially knocked all of my settings back to default, and I reran all of my tests yet again. I calibrated it as best as I could, and I ended up coming out with this in the end here. with the new FlowTech. So as you can see, I don't know if you can see that, but it's at the 0.05, which is a significant improvement over the 0.2, which just means that my tolerances are a lot better now. With all that being said, this is still going to be something that I'm going to review over time. A lot of you might not know what led to this, so I feel like I should just share that. I started getting really bad print qualities with the default nozzle. I was getting super great print qualities. In my review I mentioned it. It was printing great. And then all of a sudden the print quality started to decline. So I recalibrated everything, got everything back up to where I thought it was going to print perfectly again. And I still kept getting really weird prints. So I thought maybe something's wrong with the extruder or the Hotend. After looking at it and taking it apart, I noticed that the Hotend silicone sock was, how could I put it? When I would squeeze it, it would make cracking noises, kind of like that. It would sound like that, and that didn't sound good to me. So either filament was leaking in there, or something was going on. Something was going terribly wrong. So in the video, I might point it out. There is a section where you pull out a set screw from the back, and that wasn't actually tightened down all the way on my machine. It was in there pretty loosely. I ended up tightening it all the way in with the new FlowTech set, and it goes really far. It was actually just kind of sitting there on mine, and I just hand unscrewed it, which was a little concerning. But I don't know if that was the cause of the issue. I mean, it had been printing fine since the beginning, and then it just suddenly started doing, being a little weird. But anyways, back to this thing. I will probably do a review once I have more of the suit printed out and more of an idea of how good this thing is. So far, it's looking great. Those prints are looking pretty awesome. I'll do a close-up here at some point. But yeah, so I would recommend this for your K1 Max, for your K1, it's for both. It seems like a pretty good idea. They just recently released the stronger material nozzles. I don't know exactly what they're calling it, but I know it's not like stainless steel or anything. Or hardened steel. They have a very funky name for it. But I believe in the description it does say that it is hardened steel. But anyways, besides the point. Again, just getting off topic here. So the install was done. It was quite simple. It was a bit hectic, as you guys probably saw in the beginning of the video when I take the door off and just, everything just falls everywhere. I'm working with very limited space here, and I had it on this table that you can't see. It's off screen right now, but it was pushed back to here, so I had very little room so that I can get my main light on and another light that I have here on the end underneath the tool head so that you guys could see everything properly instead of just having one light from the top. So it was a little hectic. I kept dropping things, and some of that might make it into this video, some of it might not. But overall, it was super easy to do, super simple, super straightforward. It's printing now. I don't know if you guys can see from there, but I'll do a close-up so you guys can see that everything's printing. It's printing pretty good. And just please remember to run all your calibrations. And just start from scratch. Don't think that because you had it dialed in beforehand, you could do it again. Just run all your calibrations. It's helpful. It wastes less filament. That's that you need to 3D print the entire suit of that. So just do yourself a favor. Run all the calibrations. Watch it print the first layer. After doing it again, you might have to adjust your Z offset. And this thing is working great. Oh, I just remembered. Creality released a firmware update. Which sounds like they listened to all of our prayers. They are allowing you to use the LiDAR now with Orca Slicer. This is just a quick little of how I got it to work. So if you send it straight from Orca Slicer, it will not work. You have to, I don't know why I'm swinging this at you, it's very threatening. You have to actually go in, upload it to the printer, then come to the printer, select the job. Before you click print, there's a little checkbox and you need to select that says calibration. You need to check that and hit print, and it'll run the calibration for the laser, for the LiDAR and the laser. So yeah, that's how you can get it to do it, or you can continue to use Creality Print, which is just complete. Let's not talk about it. You could do it through, I believe, also with Prusa Slicer. They enabled it for a bunch of slicers. So the list I'll probably put somewhere right here so you guys can see what slicers it works on, and also the firmware name somewhere here as well. That's just reference for future me to put it here. And yeah, so we'll I'll get this uploaded, get this edited, uploaded for you guys so you guys can enjoy it. If you like my videos, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for the subscribers that I have now. I think it's 24 of you as of today, the last time that I checked. You guys, you peeps, you are awesome. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys leaving comments on my videos, telling me that I'm doing a thumbs up type of job. But any feedback, honestly, would be great. Any future content you guys want to see, I would love any recommendations you guys might have. Have a good night, everybody. Well, it's not night for all of you. Have a good rest of your day, or have a good night if you're watching this at night. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.